This is the Illinois Nutrient Loss Reduction Podcast, the Farm Safety Special. I'm Extension's Todd Gleason. Today we'll talk with Salah Issa. He's an assistant professor in agricultural and biological engineering here on the Urbana-Champaign campus at the University of Illinois, and was demonstrating both the farm safety issues related to grain bin safety and PTO safety during the recent Farm Progress Show. I asked him during the show to explain the demonstration.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So in our power takeoff demonstration, so we have a sample power takeoff that we operate using a drill. Next to it, we have a set of reaction timers, so we can measure how fast a person reacts. And usually it's between 0.3 seconds to 0.5 seconds they can react towards a buzzer sound. However, once we show them that, we take them to that PTO, and within that same time period, the PTO revolves around itself 3 or 4 times. So we take a balloon tied to a long piece of string about 5 foot long, and using our drill, we start our PTO, and in about a second, the balloon is entangled, and you've been hearing popping noises on that, and that's our lesson that. With a PTO demo, how often is it going to be a 5-foot string? Most likely it's a shoelace or it's a loose clothing that gets entangled in the PTO, and it just will pull a farmer straight down into it, and there's no way you can react fast enough for it.
What's your current research focus on campus at the University of Illinois?
So I have several research focuses going on. That I'll mention. One is actually looking into virtual reality technologies to teach safety. So we are currently looking at trucks and how to go about teaching pre-inspections and how to teach young truckers what's going wrong with their trucks. So we're currently building a virtual reality module to do that. That's one research project we're working on. Another one revolves around grain bin safety. So we're trying to test out technologies on how to release the grain once a clump occurs and the grain is stuck within the grain bin. So for example, currently what we're testing is compressed air, pushing compressed air through the auger systems and into the grain bin itself, and we're trying to see how effective that is as a solution. And lastly, we're looking at new technologies, so artificial intelligence-based technologies, kind of like the small robot that we see at the tent moving around. We are testing and evaluating what kind of safety risk does these new technologies impact our farmers.
We're just a couple of weeks away from the real beginning of harvest here in Illinois, across the Midwest. We'll be under full force by the end of the month, certainly in the month of October. What should producers, farmers, those who are active on the farm think about as it relates to safety?
I would start with planning ahead and be prepared. This is a perfect time to take care of your equipment, make sure they're well maintained. If you have grain bins, make sure the grain bins are clean and free of debris, because these are the things that you can do now that will help you later on. As they say, ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure, and that's something I reiterate over and over again. It's a lot better now to take the steps now to make sure that you're ready and prepared, and that you have all your equipment set up, cleaned, maintained, and in safe condition before you get into the harvest, where you don't have that time or capacity to think about it. You're trying to cut corners and save time. You just don't have the time, so be prepared now.
What technologies do most farmers not have on the farm that might be available that maybe they should?
There's quite a few technologies that are coming around, and I'll talk about here in a sense also new pipeline technologies. So we have researchers all over the U.S. They're constantly thinking and tinkering about how we can make things safer. So, for example, we have at University of Nebraska, there's an effort to develop a small robot that can be put into a grain bin, and it can level the grain and also remove any clumps on the surfaces. So that's one of the technologies upcoming, and hopefully will will help farmers be safer. Though it's important to note, for example, if you look at grain bin deaths, technology has shifted rapidly in the last 30 years. However, the number of entrapments that we see per year has been very steady. And that's important. Really, at the end of it, even as these new technologies will help us, there's nothing you cannot replace taking preventative action before you start your farm, before you start harvesting or your planting and so on. That's the best way to stay safe.
This would be on long things like having kids around, checking to make sure electricity is in the right place, that you don't hit it, all those sorts of things. Other advice as we finish up our conversation.
Yes, absolutely. And there are services that help you, for example, map all your hazards on your farms that you can use both to help you and also to provide for emergency departments that are nearby, so that when they come to your farm, they know what they need to do to help actually reduce an incident that occurred, or for them to stay safe as well. Salah Issa is an assistant professor and farm safety specialist in the College of Agricultural, Consumer, and Environmental Sciences on the Urbana-Champaign campus of the University of Illinois. His research is focused on injury prevention through predictive algorithms, evaluating new technologies and implementing technologies, of course, that reduce or remove hazards. You've been listening to the Illinois Nutrient Loss Reduction Podcast, Episode 40, the Farm Safety Special. The program is produced in conjunction with Illinois Extension Watershed Outreach Associates, Jennifer Jones and Rachel Curry. I'm Illinois Extension's Todd Gleason.